Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name's Heather, and today I am excited to be collabing with a bunch of wonderful book-loving friends here in the Disney and BookTube community. Nina over at Wrestling with Books and also Wrestling with Disney thought it would be fun for all of us to get together while she's doing Bookmas in July to share some of our favorite children's books and middle grade books. So if you are not following her already and you love to talk all things books, and those are the kind of books you like to read, or if you just love reading in general and you love to support other people who like to read and share their love of reading, then make sure that you are checking out Wrestling with Books below, and there is an entire month of July of book content for you to check out. But she put some of us together who love to read as well to share our love of children's books and middle grade books, and I thought it would be great to bring Michaela along because I still read to her and I still enjoy reading children's books to her. So we started our video here at the library because it was time for Michaela to pick up some new books. She had read the giant stack that she had, and there was some really incredible books. So I'm going to tell you about a few of mine really quickly, but I want to touch on hers first that we picked up at the library. The first book I even shared on Instagram because I was so excited about it. And it was, oh shoot, I forgot the name now. Something about Peach Pit. I've got to find it, but you'll see the picture here. So that book was so incredibly amazing. I learned so much from it, and that's the wonderful thing about the children's books in the library. They're just not time fillers. They're actually educational. Some are fun and all of that, but you will find some really educational books. And it taught me. So this story was based in World War I, and they were rationing food, and they were having a hard time finding filters for gas masks for people. And this main character of the story, she wanted to do something even more than what she was already doing. And she found out that Peach Pits actually became the filters, like a, what's it called? It's not carbon filter, charcoal filter, kind of like a charcoal carbon filter. They would prepare those Peach Pits, and those would become an aid to the gas masks for World War I. So I found that very fascinating. That was a wonderful book, and I may end up getting that from Michaela's library at home. The second one we found at the library that we absolutely are going to have to purchase as well, it's called Oni the Mail Pouch Pooch. This was also a true story. About 1885, I believe, there was a stray dog who wandered into the post office, and he was very malnourished and everything like that, and he ended up becoming a official slash not official member of the post office, and he went on world travels, and he guarded the mail and the mailman, and he traveled by train and he traveled by boat right before he retired, and he was in it for such a long time. He had so many badges on his harness and collar of where he had been on his travels. And at the end of the story, I found out it was a true story. There were pictures of Oni on the mail train, and then there was one of him like posing with all of his little tags from around the world. So those were two at the library we picked up and just took back that I hated to take back because they were so amazing, and we thoroughly enjoyed them. Since we're on the topic of the library, I only went in really to get stuff for her, and you know that really didn't happen as planned because I did get something for me. I'm not going to share that because it's not YA, it's not middle grade, it's not children's. But when I saw this book, it gave me such a Sweet Valley High slash Babysitter's Club book slash Nancy Drew feeling. And Babysitter's Club number 8 was my absolute favorite. It was Boy Crazy Stacy. However, some of my most favorites of the Babysitter's Club series were the super, what was it called? Super something. There were like supersized novels or whatever that they would put out near the summertime, and one of my absolute favorites is when they went to summer camp, and that one has stuck with me so very much my entire life, and hopefully I've found photos of it because I no longer have those. But when I saw this book, it absolutely made me think of all of those 3 books: Sweet Valley High, Babysitter's Club, and Nancy Drew, kind of all wrapped in one. And it's a series I've never heard of, and it's Camp Club Girls and the Mystery of Discovery Lake. So I'm going to attempt to read this with Michaela, but if she's not interested in it at all, I will be happy to just finish it myself. And I don't know if you've heard about it. It's by Renee Brumbaugh. I don't know much about this, but I will read the back really quickly because it sounds like so much fun. It feels like something I can read in like an hour and a half and be done and just absolutely enjoy it. But like I said, if she's interested in listening to it, I'll read a couple of chapters a night to her before I read her other books. But it says, what's really happening or what's really going on at Camp Discovery Lake? When Elizabeth, Alexis, Bailey, Sydney, Mackenzie, and Kate end up roommates at summer camp, they soon suspect there's more going on than crafts and Bible quizzes. Haunting howls, surly attitudes, whispered tales of thievery, threats of danger, a decades-old mystery resurfaces, and Camp Club girls join forces to solve the perplexing puzzle. But will they put the pieces together before time runs out? So I had to pick that up for the love of this video of sharing all of our favorite childhood books and all of our like middle grade favorites and things like that. So that's going to do it for this part of the video. We will see you as soon as we get back home. I am back home. However, Michaela decided to hang out in the other room with my mom, so it's just going to be me talking about some books, and I promise not to keep you a really long time because I really want you to go and check that description box and check out all of the other ladies sharing their favorite books today. So to further the talk about my favorite childhood books, I started in the wonderful world of reading with Disney in the mid 80s. I think that I had books before then, but if there was a little golden book out there, I had to have it, which I have a lot of my collection behind me in Michaela's books. But I do have a fair amount of this collection as well, and it is up, you know, it's up there so you can't really see it. But I have a lot of my collection, and then when I found out I was pregnant with her, I started with that same collection. So there's a couple of duplicate books. These are not the glossy covers like the ones they have now are. These are more kind of textured, not really, they're not fabric or anything, they're still hardbound, but they just have like a little texture to them. But this was one of my favorite things to do. Was when these came in the mail, it made me so happy. So I have a lot of fond childhood memories of these. So if you're looking for a book club, or maybe this is just nostalgic to talk about for you, but I highly recommend getting these or checking your thrift stores to see if you can find some of them if you don't want to join a book club. So I had a lot of these growing up, and then I also had the I Can Read books, and so there was like The Horse in Harry's Room, and I think Morris Goes to School was another one that was my favorite. I mean, gosh, guys, they don't do stuff like this anymore, but just so wonderfully illustrated, and this one always warmed my heart. And then a classic is Frog and Toad Together. So this is a really good book, and I highly recommend it for anyone's bookshelf. But he made a list at the beginning of the book, a list of things to do today. Wake up, eat breakfast, get dressed, go to Frog's house, take a walk with Frog, eat lunch, take a nap, play games with Frog, eat supper, and go to sleep. And so now he has, like, going throughout his day, he's crossing off his list. It's just a really sweet story, and it reminds me so much of my childhood. A couple of other books that I do not have before I get into Michaela's favorites, and some that I enjoy reading with her. I mentioned Sweet Valley High. I love those books so much. I even had the board game, and gosh, I tell you what, this is really bringing me back so much right now. I also really loved Where the Sidewalk Ends. I know that they made others after, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like they made other ones after that, but that was so good. I checked that out at the library many times, and then I purchased it for myself. Sadly, I don't have that anymore. But one of the other books I really enjoyed reading was Where the Red Fern Grows, How to Eat Fried Worms, and I also really liked Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. She battles a home with her religion, and then coming of age through puberty and things like that. So it was a perfect book to read around that age. But those are some of my favorites from my childhood, and I'm sure I could name so many more because just rapid fire, they're coming at me, and we would be here all day. So that's about it that I'm going to share from my childhood. But I would love to talk about a few books that I enjoy reading to Michaela and her favorite books at this current moment, because you know we're always finding our favorites. So the first one being, this is the second book I bought Michaela before she was even born, and that is Guess How Much I Love You. And I have this memorized, and it's starting, do you hear that? It's starting, it's got something going on in the binding of it. It's still intact. We take really good care of our books, but there's just a little, oh, it's just this back page where it's glued down. But like I said, the book's still intact. We're not rough with it. She doesn't color in her books or anything. So just a very, very sweet book. And we recently found at the library that there is one, a second book called Will You Be My Friend, where Little Nut Brown Hare meets a friend. It's just a very darling book, where a father and son bunny are having a competition of how much they love each other. And I mean, if that could be how the world is just constantly one-upping each other and saying, no, but I love you more, and I love you more, and I love you more, and less fighting in the world, siblings, parents, families, whatever, too much discord in the world. And this is just so heartwarming, and I love reading this book to her. And I try to read it to her every night, if not 2 or 3 times a week, when we get off track and she finds other things she wants me to read. Another thing that we do read nightly is this beautiful, it's called Little Blessings, Blessings Every Day. It's a 365-day devotional for children. Very, very simple. We have been through it so many times. And so here we are. This is July 17th and 18th, Like a Child and Time with God. And I will read you just one quickly so you get the idea of how quick they can go. And if your child can read, it's really easy for them to read as well. So, where 2 or 3 are gathered because they are mine, I will be right there among them. And that can be found in Matthew chapter 18, verse 20. Do you know why people go to church? A big question. Oh, wait. A big reason is that there is a place where we can be with God, but there are many other places to enjoy God's presence too. When you and your family pray before dinner, God is there. When you play outside with a friend in the world God created, God is there. When you sing a song about God or thank Him for all the great things He's given you, God is there. So when you want to spend time with God, grab a friend and invite God to join you. I can spend time with God anywhere. Whatever I do, He'll always be there. So it's very sweet nuggets of God's goodness every single night, and it's something really great to read. And if you pray over your child, it's something really great to do. So we usually read this after I've read whatever I'm reading her. We read this last, we say her prayers, and then sometimes I will pray over her and just ask God to touch her and bless her and use her as a blessing to others. And so I feel like this is really great. It's kind of geared more toward younger children, but I love the simplicity of it. And anything older, I feel like might be too much for her. So this is a perfect book to have in your kids' collection. I had bought another series of books for her before she was born. And this is Alice in Bible Land. It's an Alice in Bible Land storybook. This one specifically is the story of baby Jesus, but we have Noah, we have Jonah, we have Moses. I can't remember what else we do have. But these are really, really cute. It's almost like an Alice in Wonderland type story, where they take a beautiful Bible story and she goes through a screen to Bible Land. So she learns about the true meaning of Christmas in this story, and she gets to see it all played out. And then she gets to go back home and she remembers what she's learned in Bible Land, and she gets to hold it clear to her heart. And it's a very beautiful book. I love this series. I honestly wish I had all of them for her, but I don't. I mean, I would love to purchase the whole set, and I've looked, and sometimes they're kind of pretty expensive to buy the whole set. I'm going to buckle down and do it one day. It's just a lot. And so at this current moment, we don't have a lot of room to add another bookshelf, but I would love to have those for her. I just think the more knowledge of the Bible for her, the better. Okay, I have 5 more books to share with you. Like I said, y'all, I want to get them all down. I want to get them all down and just talk all day, but I can't do that. So there is a series. There was an old lady who swallowed a fly, correct? We all know that, right? But there was an old lady who swallowed, this for instance is a cow. They have a rose, a chick, a bat, a book, you know, they have all different ones. These make her laugh so much, and I don't know, I like books that make her laugh, and if she loves them, then I want all of them, you know. So there's so many in this collection. This one happens to be a hardback book, and she's got one with the birthday cake that Nicole had gifted her one year for her birthday. But these are really great. I hope she never gets tired of them though, because I kind of like reading them to her. But this is a fun series that she loves. And another one that she really, really loves is a cardboard book. I know a lot of these are super, super young and they don't hold a lot of significance to families, but they may give you ideas if you have to buy for a toddler or someone who's like under 6 or 7. And I'm okay with that. She loves to listen and read all different kinds of things, so it really doesn't bother me if she wants to look at or hear a cardboard book before she goes to bed. And this is one that she loves, and it is called I Love You All the Time. And it just talks about the different scenarios between a parent and a child. Like, I love you in the morning and all throughout the day. I love you in every moment and in many different ways. I love you all the time. I love you when the clouds pour rain and when the sun shines bright. I love you when we count the stars and when we fly a kite. I love you all the time. I love you when I play with you and when I work all day. I love you when I'm next to you and when I'm far away. I love you all the time. I love you when I tell you no and when I say all right. I love you when I'm mad at you and when I hug you tight. I love you all the time. I love you when I'm with my friends and when I'm all alone. I love you when I leave the room and when I'm on the phone. I love you all the time. I love you when I read the end and when I shut the light. I love you when I kiss your cheek and when I say sleep tight. I love you all the time. Even when you can't see me, I love you all the time. You can tell we read this book a lot, and actually didn't really want to talk about this, but this book is special too because Michaela really struggled with understanding what was happening when I was going through chemo, because I was there 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, with 2 weeks break in between, but I was bedridden the first full week of my recovery week. And I was being pumped with so much fluid. The bags of chemo were huge. I had one this big plus 2 things of like fluid, like saline, and then I would have another bag that was this big, and then antibiotics and steroids and you name it. I was just being pumped full of fluids. So by the 3rd day of every week that I was in chemo, I was gigantic. I was just so full of fluid. It had nowhere to go. My body could not process it. And so my legs would get like giant barrels. My whole body would fill up, like my arms would, I just looked huge. My knees were big and I was miserable. So sitting down was kind of out of the question. So I basically either had to stand up or lay down. And I remember being so winded because I couldn't breathe. There was just so much fluid in my body. And my child picks up this book when I'm home and she holds it up. And I remember it took every breath I had. And I read this book to her standing up. And at the time I felt like I was never going to get through it because I couldn't breathe. And it was so beautiful. And there was a while that Michaela couldn't listen to this book. For probably about 2 months, she would get a look on her face every time I would read it to her. And I knew she loved the book so much, that's why I wanted to read it to her. But I think it kind of triggered back to those moments of when I was far away. And so that one, it's like gut-wrenching, right? So, and I didn't say anything to make like you guys sad or anything. It's just like this book is so special. And she's finally at a point now where she's picking this out to read again. So when people who are really not in our lives on a day-to-day basis may not know that she does understand, and that just because she's not verbal or can't read these by herself, that she doesn't comprehend things that's going on, or the significance of things, or how she feels during certain moments. And like, I'm constantly being taught in those moments with her. And like, this was a teaching moment for me, like that it did bother her to think about going back to those where I was far away. And so I don't know, I will always cherish this book, and it's a really sweet book, and I love reading it to her. So this book is very special to us, very, very special to us. This next book is amazing, and it came from Erica the Ocampo. She sent a birthday box to Michaela summer of 2020, and this is just the Pout Pout Fish. And I basically read this to her. This one's memorized too. We read this like 3 or 4 times a week. We absolutely can't get enough of Pout Pout Fish, and there are a ton of Pout Pout Fish books for Christmas and Thanksgiving and Halloween. I started to say and a pirate, but that is the Halloween one. There's just all kinds of Pout Pout Fish books, and I think they're precious. They're absolutely adorable. So this one is definitely high on our favorites list. Okay, this book I bought Michaela probably in 2019, and it's just a Walmart version, Disney branded Aladdin book. I shared it a long time ago in a Disney haul, but this child loves this book. She wants this book read all the time, and I do mean all the time. Like this one, we are easy on books, but we did have a water spill, and it did get a little crinkly, and anyway, pages kind of stuck together and everything. But she absolutely loves this book, and I mean, like I said, it's just the same as if you were to get it in this version, but it's Walmart's, and it's got the little I don't know, is that lenticular? I don't know what that word is again, but it's got the little magic carpet thing on the front, and she just loves it. She carries this around when we would go to my mom's on the weekend. She would take it with her. I mean, she takes this whenever we go to my mom's doctor's appointments at the beach. She takes this with her. This is a book that must travel with her all the time. Last book I'm going to share with you guys is this, The Complete Tales of Winnie the Pooh. I don't feel like any collection is complete without this, at least in my heart. You guys may feel differently, but this is so precious. We absolutely love it. I'll let you see the artwork on the front here. We've had this since she was very, very little, 2-3 years old maybe. I couldn't even tell you. I love the older illustrations of Winnie the Pooh. I don't know, I just think there's something so lovely and so classic about these stories that I absolutely love having them. Christopher Robin gives Pooh a party and we say goodbye. Here's some more illustrations in here. I truly love it. Michaela's favorite is Tigger, so it's always a good time when you can sit down and read one of these tales. And I guess I should give an honorable mention. I don't know why I sat down without it. So the final book that I'm going to be sharing with you, hold please, is from this wonderful guy right here. Do you know him? We know him and we love him so much. And this is Bear in the Big Blue House. And this is a very old Bear in the Big Blue House. He has no blue nose anymore. But she has almost all of the Bear in the Big Blue House books, and they did come out with a compilation of multiple books of his. This one got ripped out by a family member on accident. But we have another one. There's another one. We have another copy. I was trying to move. Let me go this way. Excuse the messy floor. So yeah, she's got another copy of it right here. And then these are all Bear in the Big Blue House books. All of these right here are. And then we have some right here. Probably can't see them. Maybe right here. There's about 5 or 6 cardboard books as well, and they're like the padded ones. So we have 2 copies of this. This copy used to be at my mom's, which is how it got ripped by a family member. Our copy was here, and she knows them in her room. So anyway, this is a wonderful book, and I highly recommend if you can find one on eBay or Amazon or something like that, that you grab one, because any tale from the Big Blue House is a tale that we love, and we will always cherish these. This is another set of books that we will never ever get rid of. I mean, I dare say I would get rid of a Mickey Mouse book before I would a Bear book, and I mean that. But I hope that you have enjoyed listening to my favorite childhood books and seeing a little bit of Michaela's collection that we enjoy here as well. I can't wait to head on over now to go check out everyone else's video, but I had a great time here with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed it too. If you're not subscribed yet, if you'd love to see more bookish content or more Disney content, make sure to comment that below. And I truly hope that you guys are enjoying my Mondays where I'm sharing my grocery hauls, and I actually have some cooking videos that are going to start coming up on Mondays every other week with those grocery hauls. So that's coming soon. So if you could, go ahead and subscribe, hang out with my family. We truly appreciate you. And we hope that you had a blessed day. I hope that you find a book that you love to read, and we will see you next time. Bye.